Time now for everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line? Brought to you by Helene Curtis, makers of Stop-Ets, Suave, Shampoo Plus A, and other fine cosmetics. Now let's all play What's My Line? And now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you. And at my left, a gentleman who has just come from the sunshine of California to the snows of Kilimanjaro, New York. Recently has appeared there very successfully in the Johnny Carson show, and it just so happens it's Johnny Carson. Welcome.
Thank you, Arlene. And at my left is someone on whose right I'm very happy to be at, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you, Johnny. And I feel just the same way about you and about the gentleman at my left, who is a great admirer of the West and Midwest and Southwest, and has just returned from a tour of Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas City, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
Very wonderful people they are down there, too. Now, on my left is not only one of the great panel moderators of the world, but the only man in it who thinks that an octopus has legs, Mr. John Daly.
And Bennett, you could just stop putting out feelers. That's all there is to it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line panel. I've got some great news for you. You don't have to put on your blindfold. But once again, we are up to some of our old and familiar tricks. We have some very nice people who brought some interesting occupations. We're quite sure the panel is going to have a lot of trouble finding out what's going on tonight. We'll have a famous guest challenger a bit later on, but let's let these experts come face to face with their first challenger right now. Will you come in and sign in, please, sir? Carl E. Risland. Carl Risland. Where are you from, sir?
Greenfield Center, New York State.
Oh, is that upstate in New
Yeah,
York a bit? Well,
northern part of New York.
Well, we'll think of you as a neighbor then, if we may, and there are some neighbors of yours over there who would like to get to know you a bit better. Will you take a small hike down in front of the panel?
Fine figure of a man, sir.
Hello, Mr. Risland.
All right, Mr. Risland, over here, if you will, and sit down next to me. And I would ask you first if you are familiar with our scoring system, are you? All right.
Somewhat.
Somewhat? Well, it's very simple, actually. You give the panel a nice, big, fat, legitimate no answer. We'll flip a card 10 times, and you've won the game. Now let's let the folks at home and those who are with us here in the theater know exactly what your line is. Small bit of help. Mr. Risland is salaried. With that, let's begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Well, Mr. Risland, I would say that it's obvious that you must work for a profit-making organization, do you?
Most assuredly.
Do you, is there any product at all connected with what you do, Mr. Risland?
No.
No, there's no product germane or necessary to our terms of reference here on What's My Line. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Carson.
You deal in a service, and I assume. Some type of service that you
Yes.
perform for,
Yes.
Do you touch the people in any way when you perform this?
No.
No, that's 2
Glad
down
of
and 8. 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you work indoors, Mr. Risland?
No.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
You answered that you didn't touch people. We haven't even established, Johnny, that Mr. Risland works with people. Do you ever do any work with animals?
Well, I would say this, Bennett. We could, I think, give you a negative reply here and be right in doing so. However, it is fair to assume that in all of the activities which Mr. Island engages in any given period of time, it is not untoward that there might be some connection with animals as there is with human beings, wouldn't you say?
You threw that one around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is it too late to get off this show, John?
Mr. Westland, do you require some kind of special training for the job that you do?
That's a matter of opinion.
Actually, we have a term of reference here, and I think you will agree, Bennett, when it's all over, that by our understanding of special training, Mr. Island does not necessarily require it. No, that's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Is there something enjoyable about what you do, Mr. Risland?
That, again, is a matter of opinion.
That is to say, you get yes and no on that.
Yes and no.
Some people are really, I think, made quite happy, and on some occasions we might say that this is not necessarily the result.
Thanks loads.
That's all right.
Do you travel around much in your work?
No, not too much.
But there is some travel.
There's a little bit of travel connected with it.
Are you associated with a large organization?
He is a large organization.
Well, all these things are relative.
They're all relative.
You
You
know.
could say yes or no to...
You're a yes or no man, huh?
Yes or no.
In this case, I'd have to be yes or no. I couldn't answer
Do
that
people
definitely.
ever watch you at your work?
Yes or no?
Yes and no again.
I would say this. People could, Miss Arlene, and there are certainly, I think you'd agree to this, Mr. Island, there are people who would make a point of watching you
Yes,
with your work.
yeah, that's true.
You say that you work out of doors.
That's right.
Do you work out of doors in the country? Yes and no.
No,
Come on
no,
now.
No,
No,
I
not-
don't think
No,
we
it's not
call
country.
this
No,
country.
that's not country.
No, that's 5 down and 5 to go. Mr. Carson, I'm going to give you 1 minute since you don't seem to be getting close to this.
Are you going to the wedding? That's all that's left. I just put that in. Do you wear any special type of
Do I wear any what?
special type of uniform or several uniforms?
Well, I wear a uniform, yes. Costume and uniform.
Where's the uniform? Do people, would they pay to come in and see what you do?
Not particularly.
Maybe the
Well, now,
Not
let us say this. I would think we would agree that in most instances people pay to gain access to that area where we might presume Mr. Island might perform his function, right?
Sure they do. You got something?
Would you like to have
I'll
a
pass to
conference?
Dorothy. She seems to have
No, I just wondered if he had anything to do with parks.
Oh, you don't want a conference?
No.
That's
Yes.
fine. Then let's not have one.
Dorothy did.
I wanted a conference if Johnny wanted one.
You want a conference, Mr. Carson?
Seems to be the thing to do here.
Oh, you can have a lot of fun in a conference, John. You can have 15 seconds for a conference.
It won't take that long. The only thing I was thinking of was it might be some type of transportation.
He says he wears
He'd
some
keep it
type
on
of
the
uniform.
ground. I know I
Yeah.
wouldn't have to worry
Yes.
about that.
You know, trolley, bus, or something like that.
Let's get on.
All right?
All right, conference time is up,
You're
Mr.
on.
Carson.
All right. Would we be wrong in assuming that it has something to do with transportation?
What?
No,
Yes, you would not be.
not in that sense.
No, it doesn't actually. I don't think we could give it. We'd have to give you a no on that.
Fine, fine.
What Mr. President does is, I'm going to throw the chips in for you if I
We have
may.
one more question.
Yes, you have.
Do you teach or exhibit anything?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so. Actually, we were very much afraid that either Arlene or Dorothy might recognize
If he's
Mr.
catering the wedding,
He is the official racetrack bugler for this area. Official racetrack bugler. Mr. Island is the official racetrack bugler. He's the one who blows the first call to get the horses out on the track.
At what track?
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
I've never been to
Aqueduct,
Jamaica in my
Belmont.
life.
Belmont, Aqueduct, all the tracks in this
no, but
area.
I must admit I have,
My
Dorothy.
secretary, Mary
And I don't know
Barber, should have
how
been
I
on this
avoided
show.
seeing you.
Now, actually, I would like to say one thing because I think it's a very interesting fact. Mr. Island, at one time or another in his career, has been first trumpeter for New York Symphony
Yes, New
and
York Symphony, Minneapolis Symphony.
Minneapolis Symphony. He's
San Francisco Symphony.
a fine, accomplished musician, has a lot of fun doing this, I'm sure.
Good.
And we had a lot of fun having you with us. sir.
Well, I'd like to say one thing about that. Well, you asked about whether any particular training. At the time that I came in on an emergency on this position 16 years ago in Saratoga, When they first called me up, they told me what it was. They wanted the emergency. I said, go get a Boy Scout. He can do it just as well.
Panel, let's see what you can do with a second challenger. Admittedly, that was a very tough one, and I think that you probed skillfully. Will you sign in, please, sir? Edwin T. Bale, is that how you pronounce that, sir? Where are you from, sir?
Denmark.
From Denmark. Well, you've come a long way and you're tired, so you come with me. Take a look at the panel, if you will, but let's vary things, and you just come over here and sit down. The panel has had a chance to look at you. Do you know how we score this operation?
Yes.
Fine. If you do, let's let the people at home and our friends here in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right, panel. Mr. Bale is salaried. And let's begin the general questioning with our new panel member, Mr. Carson.
Mr. Bale, do you deal in a service?
Yes.
Would both men and women be likely to take advantage of what you do?
Well, yes.
You have a definite place of business that these people would come, establish a more or less permanent.
So I would say there would be a definite place to which people would repair when they wish to avail themselves of this service.
Do you have any physical contact with these people in what you do?
No.
No, I don't think so, John. 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. Bale, you look extremely well-built and athletic. Are you athletic, either in a professional or amateur way?
A little.
Does this help you in your work?
Yes.
Does your work require some strength or dexterity?
Yes.
Do people watch you when you're doing what you do?
Well, yes, they do.
Do you do something that none of us could do?
Yes, frankly, yes. I think you'll agree.
Would you, in any sense, either theatrical or in the sports field, be a performer?
Well, yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you move about in your work?
Yes, I move about.
Yes. Wow, he'd better.
Do you work with any other people or things?
Well, I work with things, but...
That just so, yes.
Yes.
Are the things alive?
Yes.
Are they animal rather than fish or fowl?
Octopi.
Octopi? They're members of the animal kingdom.
Yes.
Are they four-footed?
Yes.
Are they non-domesticated animals as we think of them?
Yes.
Are they anything that would be found in a jungle?
Yes.
I think a well-kept jungle might... Yeah.
Well-kept what, John?
A well-kept jungle.
Jungle.
Are they in the cat family?
Yes.
Do you train them or lead them around or come into contact with them?
I come into contact with them, not train them.
Well, I just have to find out what...
Which one?
Well, is it the lion? Are you a lion tamer?
No.
No. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr.
Well,
Sir.
that's a
Suffered
shame.
a long
You did this
time,
all
man.
by yourself, Dorothy. Then it must be the tigers and...
Right, the strange fact. And I will say this, that any man who gets into the central ring, as you do at Ringling Brothers, which is where Mr. Bale performs, they're in New York, as I think everybody knows now, at Madison Square Garden. He gets in the center ring with 11 tigers.
That's right.
And this is a rough way, and we'll flip all the cards just for 11
the
tigers,
tigers.
and we should do a lot more than that. Actually, it's a very dangerous way to live, I should imagine, but I think you probably are exhilarated by the danger rather than think about the danger as something to be fearful of, isn't it?
Well, I never fear the animals. I like going in with them, and if they go for you, I still like it. It's very thrilling for me.
You like animals better than people?
Well,
Yes, I know.
yes.
Don't worry about it. Permissible, by all counts. Well, Mr. Bale, I'm sorry that we didn't give the panel a rougher time, but I think you'll agree with me that Miss Kilgallen was a wonderful prosecuting attorney on
Very
that.
good. I think she's wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. That was a very good job indeed. We thought that would give you as much trouble as our bugler from the racetracks, but it didn't. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here's a message from Helene Curtis.
Because it's unique. Because it's new. Everywhere you look these days, you see
Big new stop-it stick.
at last a solid deodorant stick as effective as it is pleasant to use. Dr. Jules Montagnier, eminent creative chemist, has put a new kind of all-day stop-it protection in this big new stop-it stick, turning at a touch from solid to vapor, to the essence of a new stop-it protection. The big new stop-it stick makes quick work of perspiration and odor, yet it's completely safe for his best shirt, her best blouse. Yes, here's the deodorant that can't tell time. It's as effective late night as it is early morning.
Big new stop-it stick.
You get a big stick of the new Stop-it stick for only 79 cents plus tax.
And remember, the new Stop-it stick comes from the same family of quality products that change the nation's deodorant habits. So choose from 3: Stop-it regular, Stop-it for men, or the new Stop-it stick. All with the extra protection only Stop-it can give you.
And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity. We get things back to the beginning. And for this part of the program, my friends in the panel are blindfolded. Blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, John.
Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? All right. Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery challenger, we go to a different form of questioning. You ask one question at a time in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin it with Bennett Cerf.
Well, all that rapturous applause from the live audience usually signifies somebody from show business. Would you qualify for that category?
Yeah.
Miss Francis?
Are you performing in New York now?
Well, yeah.
Mr. Carson?
Was that yes?
That was a yes.
It was awfully Cracker Barrel.
Would you be, do you do, I don't know what I have this pencil for. Would you be considered more of a motion picture personality than in other fields?
Well, yeah. Sometimes.
And sometimes he's right. I would say that our guest has a very great reputation in several of the entertainment media. Miss Kilgallen?
Are you a singer?
I have been accused of it.
You have been accused of
Has
it?
been accused, yes. Mr. Cerf?
Complaints, too.
And how do you plead?
Partially guilty. I would think here again our guest does sing. Yes,
On occasion.
on occasion. Mr. Cerf?
Have you ever appeared in a nightclub?
On occasion.
Miss Francis?
Are you appearing in a musical comedy now on Broadway?
Well, not really. I
Not
must say
really?
that I've not really appearing in a musical comedy at the present time.
That's one down and 9 to go. Johnny Carson.
Are you in the field of comedy?
Well, there are occasions when I find it necessary to do comedy.
Miss Kilgallen?
Are you also, besides being a performer, such as a performer who would do a specialty act, a single, are you an actor who performs with other people in plays or musicals or movies?
Yes, yes, Miss Kilgallen.
think so.
Well, narrowing it down, I
I'm
think...
glad you can.
Well, he does, he's in New York. He is not in a musical show. That means some nightclub act.
Or a straight play.
No,
We haven't eliminated it.
I think a
Are you appearing, are you a
Yes,
present-
just a moment. Our
No.
guest has taken proper note
Taken
that a
umbrage.
conference was being had there, and there's no call for a conference. Let's have a little more discipline, please. Thank
I
you.
was musing. I was merely musing, sir. And I am now about to ask you if you have ever appeared or are at present appearing at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel.
Ever appeared or are present? Yes, I think we could say yes to that.
As a matter of fact, he's quite correct. I am appearing, and Mr. Cerf, once again, is the Mr. Cerf, we all know. With shoes.
He doesn't get any more to say now, Miss Francis.
I'm the only one that hasn't been to the Waldorf in this crowd. Oh, Arlene, I can't
She's
think
been
of
looking at her
who's there.
passport again.
Once in love with somebody.
Once in love with Amy?
Yeah.
That's Ray Bolger?
Yeah.
Oh, Ray Bolger!
Sure, and how. Ray Bolger's right. Congratulations, Bennett. Thought we had you really
just
spinning
elimination.
again. At the Waldorf currently, but I think I did read you're going to come back into television, I hope. I'm one of that legion who is very fond of your show on another network, which we can't mention here.
Well, thank you very much. As a matter of fact, I'm here now, as well as being at the Empire Room at the Waldorf, to discuss these television ventures that I'm going to in the fall.
Ah, wonderful. I hope
On another network, probably.
Well, here we are stuck with other networks. Yes, Bennett?
Might I say a word? I think, Mr. Bulger, you're the greatest soft shoe dancer alive today, and I think you ought to do one little step for us.
Ray has said when he leaves me, he will do a soft shoe over to where you all are so he
Shuffle
can
off
say
to
goodnight.
Buffalo. and
Providing that I can get a ticket sometime for free for one of your wonderful lectures, Mr. Cerf.
You're in on all of them. It's a deal, Ray. Thanks very much. Wonderful having you with us. Wonderful. All right, panel, I think we have enough time to give you another test of skill tonight. Will you see what you can do with another challenger? Will you sign in, please, ma'am? John? Strite or Street?
Strite.
Strite. How are you?
How do you do?
Nice to see you. Is it Miss or Mrs.? Miss Strite, where are you from?
New York.
Oh, you live here in New York? Will you take a look at the panel? We're a little bit short of time, and then if you come over here and sit down with me, I will ask, are you familiar with the scoring system?
Yes, I am.
Good. Then let's let the people at home and our friends here in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right. Well, you're going to have about 2.5 minutes. Miss Strite is salaried. We'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you in the entertainment business? No.
Fine. That's 1 down and 9 to go. Miss Strite, would you lean forward just a bit? Thank you.
Miss Strite, are you by any chance English?
Are you English?
No.
That's 2 down and 8 to go. Miss Francis?
Miss Strite's bearing is very poised indeed. Do you, have you had formal training for the job that you do?
No.
Well, even so.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Carson.
Are you going to the wedding? Everybody else. Everybody's going but me. We haven't even established this, if there's a product or anything
Oh,
else.
John,
have
you
we?
haven't told us that she's salaried, have you?
She's salaried.
Yes, told you she's salaried.
Excuse me.
No.
No, we haven't.
You deal in a service.
Yes.
Could I take advantage of what you do? Let me rephrase that. Oh, I guess that's all right.
Yes, you could take it.
I guess that's all right.
We know you wouldn't want to, but you could.
Would I be willing to, no, I don't mean that either. Would I be likely to take advantage of your service?
Possibly.
It's possible.
Do you move around in what you do? I mean, rather than located in an office or rather permanent quarters.
Occasionally.
There's
In other words-
actually, I think, in the context of the question, I'll have to give you a no, Johnny. There is not movement in the terms that we usually apply movement to the description of a job. Miss Kilgallen.
Well, now, if Johnny could take advantage of what you do, could Arlene and I, too?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Could children?
Yes.
Do you speak to the people you deal with?
Yes.
Do you speak to them personally rather than over the telephone or microphone?
No.
No, that would make it 5 down and 5 to go. Mr. Cerf, we've got time for about 1 or 2 questions. Quick.
You do not speak to them personally. Do you do it over some instrument that would be connected with either television or radio?
Not specifically, Bennett. Not specifically. I think you're getting close. It's too bad we've run out of time. Actually, what is it? Do you think you know?
I was thinking that you did something with the telephone company. Her
No.
voice is so
United
fine.
Nations interpreter.
Ah,
But
really?
I think you'd have got it. Very good. You're getting very close. Actually, Miss Wright has been with the UN for 9 years, and you've been here a lot less than that, but you confounded them in our thanks. It's nice to have had you with us on What's My Line.
Born abroad, but I'm American. My father's American. So.
You sounded so English.
Thank you very much, Miss Wright. Nice to see you. We'll be back in just a moment, but first, here's a word from Helene Curtis.
I remember when the baby came to our house. Papa said, she looks so bare. Whatever happened to her hair? Mama said, it will be there, and Mama knew. As you can see, the hair grew, lovely as can be. Then came the time Mom said to Sis, to keep my hair lovely, I use this. For only Helene Curtis Suave can make hair gleam without that ugly, oily sheen. Dull, dry hair is never nice. No man ever glances twice unless hair has that healthy glow. That's why you need Suave, you know. So she used Suave. Her hair behaved and was so soft. And beaux flocked round her just to see Suave highlights twinkling prettily. So she'll use Suave for all her life to keep herself a pretty wife. Did you use Suave today? Helene Curtis Suave? Choose liquid or cream. Only Suave contains greaseless lanolin.
Now, before our panel says goodnight, may I remind you to tune in again next Sunday evening at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when, once more, we invite you to play What's My Line. For other localities, check your local listings for the date and time of our weekly series. And now, a word from next week's sponsor.
Remington.
Remington. Remington. Remington now guarantees
Pay attention, Mac.
cleaner shaves for 15 days.
Or your money back.
Thank you, Brushface. That's right, friends. Remington now guarantees cleaner shaves. So pick up a Remington on the 15-day free home trial plan. You have nothing to lose but your whiskers.
I think all of you know that both of our young ladies, Arlene and Dorothy, are going to Monaco. Forgotten what it was for, but they're going anyway. So until we see you again, this is John Daly saying good night, Miss Arlene.
Good night, John. I'm going to Amsterdam and then Monaco, by way of the canals to the Kellys. Good night, Johnny. It was very nice to have you with us tonight.
Thank you, Arlene. And Dorothy, since you're going to the wedding, would you put $2 on the red for me?
I'd be delighted, Johnny. Thank you. It was so nice having you. Bennett, when do you leave for the wedding?
Lordy, I'm the only one who's going to be left here. Seems to me. I'll be holding down the fort next Sunday here with John, and we'll have some visitors in place of our regulars who will be off on the society capers. Robert Q. Lewis will be with us in the man spot, and Celeste Holm, the girl from Oklahoma, and Miss Elsa Maxwell. Why she isn't going to the wedding, I don't know. John, good night.
Good night. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
Travel arrangements on What's My Line are made through American Airlines. American Airlines flies our contestants in luxurious comfort aboard DC-7 flagships. This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production in association with the CBS Television.